So thank you. So now we are at your medical aesthetic spa, and you have 3 locations, right? You have Miami, Tampa, and Ocala.
Yes.
What made you decide to get into this industry?
Oh, well, that's my mom.
Okay.
She told me, don't go work in a hospital, just do this. You know, she's been in the industry for years, and she's actually very inspiring. She's an entrepreneur. And she opened the first electrolysis and laser hair removal school in Tampa.
Amazing. I got a chance to actually meet her mom and her grandmother, because your grandmother brought you lunch, which was so sweet. So that's the type of environment, right? It's very welcoming. You welcome your patients here as if they're family. It's a nice place. You're doing many things here. So instead of people having to like go under the knife to do some things, it's non-surgical, non-invasive. And I was looking at this list of things that you do. You do wrinkle relaxers. I know I need that. You do fillers, you do lasers, you do skin resurfacing, you do medical facials, you do sexual wellness, and a lot of other different things. But you're able to do it here. You have several different rooms, high-end equipment. I want to know one thing that I thought was interesting that you do, and you do tattoo removal.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the more common things that we do is permanent makeup removal.
Okay.
So we have patients that, you know, maybe got their eyebrows tattooed or their eyeliner, and they're just not happy with the way it looks, or they want to remove the wing, or something's a little off symmetry, or the color is off. And so we are able to safely remove eyeliner and eyebrow tattoo without, you know, getting rid of the hair, and without injuring the eye, which is the most important thing when you're doing that treatment.
And sometimes when people are doing permanent makeup, sometimes they make a little mistake. Like you said, like maybe one wing's uneven from the other wing, like when they're doing like the cat eye look, or, you know, and so you're able to fix that.
Absolutely.
It must feel good.
It's
right?
amazing. And they feel good.
Right.
Because it's your face.
Now you have a CO machine?
A CO2.
Right? Okay.
A CO2
it's
laser.
almost like Star Wars here, because it's like really cool stuff, right? So what does that machine do?
So the CO2 laser is actually, it's the gold standard for acne scars. So it's excellent for repairing texture, but it also helps tighten the skin, build new collagen, so you're able to target wrinkles, fine lines, like the lip lines, the lines around the eyes.
She's looking at me, kids, okay?
And it does about sometimes 80 to 90% reduction in pigmentation. So if you have a lot of sun damage and you want to get rid of that, you know, kind of even out your skin tone, CO2 is an excellent option for that.
So one of the things that I've always been shy about is my nose and the space between my teeth, right? So now you can't do all noses non-surgically, but what can you do? What's it called when you help somebody with their nose?
So we call it non-surgical or liquid nose, or liquid rhinoplasty.
Okay.
And we just use a combination of threads or fillers to maybe mask the bump. Some people have a little bit of a bump, or if they want to like lift the tip or round it out a bit. Usually we can take care of that with filler, and it lasts about 1 year. A lot cheaper than surgery.
Yeah, and then they could kind of get used to their new nose if they ever wanted to like do it, you know, forever. And then also sometimes you put a little filler here, which also gives you like a little lift.
Right.
Okay.
Put it in different places to kind of help shape the nose the way you want.
And one of the things you said you can help me with today is like do like you're like, please let me, right? So laser this, right?
Yes.
So the only way that you can get rid of these black hairs is once they're black with laser. Because the laser has to see them.
Correct.
So I said, yes, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, because I could use some help. Yay! Because I'm tired of looking in the rearview mirror in the sun and like, you know.
It's funny because I do my testosterone therapy,
right?
And so I'm plucking every week the 1 or 2 hairs that come out. Like, it's easy to just laser it, and it doesn't grow back.
Thank you very much. Stay tuned.
So Meredith, welcome. Nice to have you here. How are you feeling about the premiere happening in just a couple of days?
I am so excited. I am so excited to be back at the Tribeca Festival. It's an incredible place to launch a film. I love New York City. I used to live in New York City. And the fact that we are going to premiere on the Intrepid on D-Day is just kind of mind-blowing.
I remember growing up and we used to sing like My Buddy and throw poppies into the water. And, I really was lucky because I was raised in an environment where we respected our veterans and understood that our freedom came at a cost and that it mattered. And so when I saw your project, I was, like I said, I was very touched, moved, and inspired by it. And good for you. So obviously, this is a huge undertaking because you brought these veterans, most of them who are around 100 years old, right? There. So walk me through the process because I looked at the credits and obviously not just one person makes something. There's thousands of people on this project, but walk us through the steps, if you will, of how it came from concept to completion.
Yeah. Well, the concept came about, my producer at Pulse Films sent me an article about how Delta flies a charter plane full of veterans to Normandy every summer for the anniversary of D-Day. And that alone just blew my mind. Like the logistics of that, how they're all like at least 100 years old. But also it was interesting to me the why these people who had experienced so much trauma in this place specifically would want to go back. And that really became the kind of the nucleus of the entire film. And in that, and then of course the how do you craft a film about World War II, a subject that has been done, every which way, films, movies, books. And there was something that Betty Rosevear Huffman, a former Army nurse who was on the charter, who wound up becoming the narrator of the film, said in that article. She said, I often think about the people that I served with. What did they go on to do with their lives? And in that moment, I realized that this could be a story not just of their experiences in Normandy, but about how those experiences shaped them as people and really shaped 20th century America.
So you did a beautiful job shooting it too. Like you're a great storyteller, So from the angles and just the respect that you had in the interaction with each person, I think says a lot about the film, right? It's the feeling, it's the emotion, and then you had like 16 millimeter film, like that you were able to like acquire. You had some assets that you were able to work with. When you're telling the story, I guess that's kind of what you need. You need all the elements and your score. The score.
Well, it's pretty mind blowing.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. The score. So we early on in the development reached out to Hans Zimmer and his production company, Bleeding Fingers, where he works with a lot of younger composers. And they signed on to the project, based on a cover letter and a sizzle. And we and really transformed the film. It elevated every element of it. Going into the edit, we were working through scenes, and then we were like, and now imagine this with the Hans Zimmer score. And so now, it elevated it into a more emotional cinematic experience of these veterans' stories. And so you really feel what they're talking about. You're experiencing it in a completely emotionally grounded way.
When you decided to, I guess, be an artist, if you will, using media arts, right? Mm-hmm. You've done things with the MoMA. You've been able to have really beautiful experiences. What was that decision like for you early on as you were like going to school, you're going to school of visual arts, you're like learning different things that made you decide that you wanted to, I guess, use the medium in this way?
Film specifically.
Yeah, like in a paint, you have a very painter, I believe, that you direct in a very painterly way,
Oh, I
right?
love that. Yeah. That's, I think that, yeah, my background, I actually started out as a painter
Oh,
and
okay.
artist.
Oh, okay. Now
And
that makes sense to
yeah,
me because
I mean,
I also went to art school and my daughter's an artist. I come from a long line of artists, so okay, understood now. So it's your
that's
eye.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that having that relationship to the visual storytelling has always been very strong. And I think at some point during my career as an artist, I started working with video, making music videos, making art video, and um, and then realizing that for me, the film medium was a was kind of the pinnacle to reach because it blends all of the different arts together and is incredibly collaborative. So you can work with music, you can work with visuals, you can work with words, and all of those things come together to thread this needle for a very visceral experience. And that's the goal.
What was one, I guess, celebratory moment for you that you're going to hold dear during this whole process? What was moment? What was a moment of magic, I guess, if you will, for you? I'm sure there were plenty, but
There were so many, but off the top of my head, I would have to say it was during the recording of the score. So we we recorded the score in a place called Synchron Studios, which is in Vienna. And Synchron was built by Goebbels and the Nazis as a recording studio for orchestral music in service of Nazi propaganda.
hmm,
When when the
wow.
war, and it's this really extraordinarily built building, there's nothing else like it in the world. And after the war, it fell into disrepair, was shuttered. It, had changed hands multiple times, and then in the early 2000s, the current owners took it over, renovated it, and turned it back into an orchestra recording studio for films.
Hmm.
At that time, Hans Zimmer moved almost his entire slate there to record, with this idea of replacing uh, this this energy into making beauty and art and love. And we got to record our score there with, I think it was 47 a 47 piece orchestra. And this was, obviously in Europe, and so a lot of the musicians had personal relationships with the war, whether it was family members that fought in the war, and a lot of Ukrainian musicians were also there. And of course, there's echoes of World War II and authoritarian rise. So
Yeah.
feeling the orchestra, seeing the film play, we had musicians, wiping tears at the end of a session. It was really magical, and I would say that was something I'll never forget.
On behalf of you and your entire team, well done. Really great job.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's nice to meet you like virtually. And I'll see you in person very
Forward to
soon.
seeing you on Friday.
Okay. Thank you so much. Be well. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Joining us now from Uncommonly Gorgeous is Jenaya. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Donna. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. I was excited when I found out that you were coming on the show. I was just interviewing some other people that started their company in college. But tell us what happened in your college dorm room. What was going on where you knew that you knew you had to do something?
Yes. So I usually put lotion on after I shower, and I'd actually run out of lotion. And so the only thing I had was olive oil. So I put olive oil on and realized I actually kind of liked olive oil. So from there, I started mixing olive oil with almond oil and avocado oil. Then my mom got me into essential oils. And so I started putting some fragrances in, and then I started mixing in cocoa nut oil and rosehip oil. And then I started making massage oils, and it just kind of formulated to a whole body thing. And here I am in my 40s having, all sorts of different situations and making skincare for the face.
Now at the
So
age
that's
of
how it
40, yeah, at the age of 40, so I'm about 20 years older than you. I'm old enough to be your mom. You do go through changes that people just don't tell you about, right? It's not just that your hair gets gray. It's like, like sometimes your elbows, your kneecaps, your ankles, it just, it just,
No one told me about that.
I know.
Actually, I hit 40 and I like woke up and I had like skin like a 14-year-old boy. I'm like, what is going on? And that's actually how the company was born, because I couldn't find anything to heal the hormones. And
Yes.
so I formulated this blend out of a necessity to heal my skin. And here I am.
Absolutely wonderful. You were making it in small batches at first, right? So tell us about your manufacturing process. Where is your company now, and how does it all work?
So I'm located out of Savannah, Georgia. I actually partnered with a company out of Canada. I wanted to not make my house an actual kitchen dwelling space where I was manufacturing everything. And I really wanted to strive for consistency and really making sure that everything was the same. So I partnered with a lab in Canada. I also, it was very important to me to make sure that everything was USDA certified organic. So I have gone through that whole entire process to make sure that my first product, Tremolo Radiant Glow Elixir, is USDA certified organic. And every product after that I am going to put out to market is also going to be USDA certified organic.
And it's also plant-based, right? So you're using things that just are from nature and you're putting them together.
Exactly. Yes. And so tremola is a mushroom. It's been around since the Tang Dynasty, actually, and it's revered from Chinese traditional medicine. It's actually nature's hyaluronic acid, so it holds 500 times its weight in moisture. And so it's really great for plumping up the skin, helping to refine those fine lines, moisture retention, that type of thing. So when you're getting, what should I say, a little bit older and you start to notice some of those, creaks and fine lines, it helps to really, plump up that skin and keep you glowing.
I know sometimes you wake up and the next day you're like, you're a different person. Like you look in the mirror and you find a new one, right? It's like, wait.
Yeah, it's like whack-a-mole. You're like, how did I get this down?
wait, where's that going? I joke, but I laugh. And I wanted to feature someone like yourself that is truly interested in the purity of your product and what it can do for someone, because you want to help people. It's not like your marketing is very simple. It's very chic. It's not like audacious, right? It's just the product speaks for itself.
Yes, I really wanted for women and men to just embrace and really own their gorgeous. And that's really what I strive for. I didn't want anything ostentatious. It's very clean. I wanted the ingredients to speak for themselves. Simplicity is at the heart of everything I do. It's very clean. And greenwashing is not what I do. I'm a clean beauty rebel at the core. So I really believe that nature is really nature, and letting the label speak for itself.
Well, your beauty certainly speaks for itself. Thank you, Jenaya, for joining us with Uncommonly Gorgeous.
Nice.
I really
Thank you.
do truly thank you for calling in today, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Have a
Okay,
great day.
happy journeys. Be well. Bye.
You.
We could all look a little more glowing at times, so this is a great product line. Please check them out. Well, today we are in New Jersey and we are at Logos, and my guest is Silvana. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Donna. Thanks for having me.
So, what made you decide to become an optometrist?
I grew up in a family that they're all very successful. We really valued education in general, and I fell in love with the field of optometry and spending time with people and being close with them. But really, my passion of optometry started when I found dry eye.
Okay.
And
What is dry eye, you said?
dry eyes.
Okay, what
yeah.
is dry eye?
Dry eye is such a common condition now. It's a dry eye disease. Millions of people have it, from kids to older people. And it is the less of secretion of oil in the eye.
Okay.
There are different types of dry eyes, but it's such an underdiagnosed disease, and it interferes with everything in our life. The time that we spend on the computer reading, simply feeling our eyes, feeling gritty, feeling watery eyes. People think, oh, my eyes are watery, they're not dry. Actually, that is the opposite. When they are watery, they're dry.
Interesting.
So
does it have to do with the tear duct, or is it the membrane of your
it has
eyeball?
to do with the meibomian gland
Okay.
that secretes oil into your eyes. And we need the oil, just like a car needs oil, just to run smoothly. And dry eye became such a passion for me because people really change their day to day, how many hours they can spend on the computer, redness is simply just cosmetically, people don't want to have red eyes. And
By the way, the whites of your eyes were what your beautiful smile and the whites of your eyes, because I'm always like making eye contact with people. I'm like, she's got very beautiful eyes. So that's one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you have a lot of redness or
Yes.
veins in your eyes, it could be dry.
It could be dry, yes.
Interesting,
And
okay.
simply thinking about your eyes, going about your day, feeling the, blinking. We shouldn't feel that.
Okay.
And but my passion was taken to another level when we actually now have FDA-approved innovations called OptiLight and OptiLift, and
Okay.
those are non-invasive, very easy, light therapy, and it is just long-lasting relief, and that gives us much more way to reach our patients and to help them, rather than just buying eye drops that at one point they don't work anymore.
Okay, because your eye then becomes like immune to its effect. Is that right? It's just it builds
Well,
up
because
and then
they
it just doesn't want to
they're
work
taking
anymore.
care of symptoms, but they're
Okay.
not really treating anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so those two therapies that you talked about, you actually have the
We
equipment
have
here.
them here in office. We do them. Evaluations are not long, but we have so many patients that are really came in for just a routine eye exam.
Right, they just
wanna
thought
get
they wanted glasses, right?
And they walk out with this diagnosed with this chronic disease, but it's really life changing. But optometry became such passion for me with this dry eye. I love everything about the field. And the best thing is spending time with people. Really, we get, especially in a setting like a small setting, like a small business, we get to spend more time with people, and we get to know them. We get to celebrate wins. We get to adjust setbacks and tailor the therapy to them, to their lifestyle. It's not one thing, fits all. So.
Well, it's interesting that you say that you're a small business. You might feel like you're a small business because maybe your staff isn't, but you're actually like a large business. What do I mean by that? From the moment that I walked through, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm somewhere very special. So you've built this business as if it's like a really big, major retailer, and yet you're independent.
Yes.
So congratulations
Thank
for that.
you. Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. So when people come here, they're going to be able to get obviously get their exam. The frames that you carry here are like multitude. Like if somebody's this entry level price point all the way up to the most luxurious frames,
Yes.
which is great.
Yeah.
So I look at you as maybe just an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
But you're working here in the community, and you're doing so
Yes.
much give back.
Yes, and we want patients, because the one thing that patients know about us, and that's what we want to give to them, is the connection. We want to connect with them. We want to get to know them. We know them by name. Patients are not transactional. They're not a number. They're not slots. So follow-up phone calls and text messages and how are you feeling, and that's what a small business should feel like, and patients should feel at home.
Like they're walking into your home.
Exactly.
I just noticed today you were interacting with one of your patients who needed to come pick up her frames, and she walked right through the door and you greeted
Yes.
her by name, and it was
Yes.
a nice to witness that. It was nice to see how you're interacting with them.
And no algorithm can really replicate that, so
They
that's
used to work in a big
Yes.
corporate kind of machine
Yeah.
kind of place. You just decided you weren't going to do that anymore.
No, because I like I was telling you, small businesses are truly the heart of our community. We give them back, and they give us, they give us their trust, and we give back our time to them, resources. So I think economically, I think our economy is based on small businesses.
They
We're
are.
resilient towards anything. So I wholeheartedly believe in small businesses, in any kind of small, especially healthcare, because the one thing that is missing in a lot of big places is, like I said, the time.
Yes.
The time to spend, time to educate, time to listen, and ultimately time to build loyalty between the healthcare provider and the patient.
And a customized solution.
Yes.
You're going to only do for their eyes specifically what their
Yes.
unique eyes need.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What's one of the, I guess, a memorable fun moment that you've had here where somebody I guess either picking out a frame or, without naming any names,
Yeah.
what's it like? What surprises you and makes you just smile?
I've had I had a patient that came in, and she did not like me at first, and she was like, so I started joking around with her. We actually did a dry eye, and she she brought her grandmother from the airport to the office, because she said, my grandmother, keeps telling me she has to blink so many times. So, it was just funny because her grandmother literally came from the airport straight here. So that was very special, because she really trusted
At
me.
first she didn't like you,
Yeah,
and then she realized that she
yes,
did.
Yes.
So much so.
So she
brought her grandmother,
we kind of
right.
clashed at first, because she thought I was just trying to sell her something, and but again, we built that trust, and she brings her entire family here.
Are you able to look at someone just walking down the street? You know how a dentist can look at somebody and say, oh, their teeth are funny? Can you look at somebody's eyes and be like,
Yes.
they need my help?
The way they blink.
Okay.
The way they blink, yes. When people do this.
Right,
Yeah.
and they squint.
Yeah.
I squint a lot.
Squinting.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've stopped people at the, at grocery store, and they're doing this, and I'm
You need me.
yeah.
Well, also, even with Angry 11s, like, you know, like I shared with you, I'm going to be 60. And like, I realized that a lot of the reason that I have these is because I didn't take time to go get an eye exam, didn't take time to wear the right prescription. And I was squinting when I was driving.
So so now that we know so much about the eye, more than just a prescription, we know that our dry eye can also happen from our eyes or our muscles not closing all the way. So we have a machine called the OptiLift,
Okay.
which is an RF radio frequency and muscle stimulator, and it stimulates, it gives like a workout your eye muscle.
Silvana, I probably need you.
And it gets rid of all these like the 11s and the fine wrinkles, and it helps dry eye.
And it's called an OptiLift.
OptiLift, because it literally lifts up your eyelid, your lower eyelid. Again, non-invasive. We do it here in the office, and this is our latest toy. Just like, no, 3 shots it out this time. All right, we're all done.
Yay!
You need like.
I'm gonna go look.
Actually,
Yes,
but take.
Okay. It's about 6 sessions, you say?
Yeah, for the face.
Wow.
Can you?
I can tell.
It's lighter.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
lighter.
It's also lifted.
That's amazing. That's really great. Yay. Woo.
Go in the back.
Joining us now is Dr. Lawrence Kessler, and we're going to be talking about optimizing our health. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. So you have a new book. I'm just going to start right now with that. It's ophthalmology, which is a term you kind of coined.
Yeah, correct. So ophthalmology, I call the future of medicine. It's more of a regenerative effort from what was called functional medicine. Functional medicine was a term coined in the early 1990s by a physician who was generally unsatisfied with caring for his chronic disease patients. He had a background in biochemistry and nutrition, and so he focused mostly on the nutrition aspect that is not addressed in chronic disease. And that evolved into, taking that foundation, I created ophthalmology, which I consider a comprehensive, individualized approach to wellness.
Okay.
And in
so
that
everybody's journey, I didn't mean to interrupt you, doctor, but everybody's journey, just like your fingerprint, is unique.
Absolutely. That's why everybody should have personalized individual care. The general consensus in traditional or conservative medicine is that it's fairly one size fits all.
Okay.
So ophthalmology, from our perspective, embraces really 5 core principles. That being hormonal balance, targeted nutrition, exercise and movement science, regenerative and preventive therapies, and lifestyle optimization.
Okay. Because if you have your health, they always say you have everything, right?
You do, and you know if you're not well, the world is not a happy place.
No, not a happy place. I've noticed that I may have sleep apnea, so I just ordered the test, right? Sometimes you have to be your own best friend in your health journey, because if you're not going forward and learning more, you know, obviously you're an avid learner. With sleep apnea, I just found out that there might be a new treatment for that, right? Besides nutrition, besides losing weight, maybe a dental apparatus instead of the mask. But it's all these types of things that I feel you're so good at, because you're kind of looking for what are the solutions for someone individually.
Yes.
ER. Could not believe how many years you spent in the ER.
Yeah, it was a career in the ER. And in the ER physicians are trained to expect the worst and hope for the best.
Okay.
We do the most with the least amount of information. Now, emergency medicine has certainly progressed since I trained back in the early 90s, but it's still the receptacle for anybody who has the need. But even emergency medicine fails to address any kind of preventive therapies or chronic disease management. We are acute emergency interventionalists.
Okay, just put a Band-Aid on it, right?
Well,
if it's bleeding,
figure
fix
out
it.
where it needs to go.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's the nice part about I loved emergency medicine because I would know so much about so much, but I didn't want to be the pinky doctor to know everything about the nail.
Okay,
So that was my approach.
understood. So now this is your second book. What was your first book?
So the first book I self-published back in 2012. It's called We All Die Once. It is a recap of my time in the emergency room. It's more about the American healthcare system. This was at the time of Obamacare and the health initiative. And it really looks at the undermining or the underworld of medicine and how it fails to address the true needs of the population.
Okay.
And it's told through stories of the ER and some personal stories as well. But it comes to the point that, and the reason why I called it We All Die Once is that no matter what we do, at the end, we're all going to pass.
I know, right? There's only like 5 ways that you can die too. I've already thought about it, right? I'm 60 this year, Doc. So I'm looking at my life and I'm like, okay, is it accident? Is it illness? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? We all are going to exit the stage. But until we do, it's important to optimize your health. Now, was that number 5? Was that the fifth pillar? You were telling me that there were 5 different things.
The 5th pillar is what I call regenerative and restorative treatments. And these are on the fringe of what people consider medicine, and that gets into the political and economic pressures in the field that we do.
Okay, and what are those? Are those the peptides, the
Yes.
bionomes,
Peptides
Okay.
and IV supplements and exosomes.
Oh, exosomes.
Exosomes, yes.
Okay, I know a little bit about a lot, not as much as you do
should
about
be
this.
an ER doctor.
Hey,
then.
you never know. So when a patient comes to you in person, or I know you also on occasion will do some telemedicine, but when someone comes to you, what is the onboarding process like? What are you walking them through? Why would someone seek your help?
Excellent. So what we do, when you come into our office, it's not a typical medical office. We typically book a patient in a 3-hour window. And so 2 weeks prior, we'll order a set of metabolic panels and hormonal evaluation. It takes about 2 weeks for those tests to come back. Over 30 hormones and over 50 other markers, chemical markers. I take that information and the patient comes in and we have a discussion about their goals. We put them through a series of evaluations, one being a DEXA scan, and you may have heard of DEXA, D-E-X-A. It stands for Dual Energy X-ray Absorptiometry. It's basically the gold standard in finding out what you're really made of. It tells you your lean muscle, your visceral adipose tissue, and your bone density. And this is really a push of mine, especially for perimenopausal and menopausal women who are ignoring their bone health. I could tell you that a hip fracture in a woman over 75 has a 25% chance of dying that year. But a hip fracture in a man over 75 has a 75% chance of dying that year. So treating bone health is essential, and it's often overlooked.
Yeah, people just think if you have the back hump that you have osteoporosis. They're only using that, but people get that back hump now from being on their cell phone too long, right?
Yeah, that's a curvature.
That's a curvature,
not so much
right.
of a bone density issue.
But also, I think that, I was just joking, I was making light of it, but you're absolutely right. Because I have friends now that I said, I'm going to be 60, that their hips are hurting as if when they were pregnant. They're getting that joint pain that's unexplainable, or maybe their knees are starting to hurt. So that has to do with your bones?
Yeah, oh yes.
Okay.
Bone and joint health go hand in hand, which is all tied to that first pillar of ophthalmology, and kind of one of the cruxes of our treatment protocols is that hormone balance. And, hormones sadly have really undergone a poor representation in the media and are grossly understood underappreciated by the medical community.
Absolutely.
And part of what I'm doing in this book and our push is to educate not just patients, but physicians as well. This book goes through, again, the core pillar being hormonal balance. You know, so many people have a thyroid issue and their doctor will put them on thyroid the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a hormone.
Yeah.
So why is it okay to be on thyroid supplementation the rest of your life and not estradiol or not testosterone or another hormone? You know, women who suffer from menopause, and one of the myths out there, that's part of, you know, debunking the myths.
Mm-hmm.
So why should I treat menopause? It's natural. Well, so is tooth decay, but we
Right,
go to
we're
the
gonna
dentist.
treat it. Right, exactly. We're gonna go to the
And so
dentist.
there's no reason to not treat it except the political, economic, and the myths out there that tell us, oh, it's dangerous. Oh, you shouldn't do that. And there's a lot of bad studies that came out about 25 years ago that lend to that hype. But they've been debunked, and the myths, and part of what I want to do is debunk the myths about hormone therapy, because there's too many out there, and it's sad that anybody should suffer, because the most important thing we do is about quality of life.
Absolutely.
And that's why we have the term health span, not lifespan.
Beautiful.
Living to 90 is great, but if you spend the last 20 years of your life in and out of a hospital, multiple procedures, on 25 medications, where's the quality?
I'm going for 102, Doc. I really am.
You should.
I really
And
thinking
there's
to
no reason
myself,
why you can't get
there's
there
no
healthy.
reason. Yeah, you know what? I'm really happy with where my life is, and now I just want more life, right? So how do
Yes.
I get that? I just have to have a quality health style
That's
and
why
lifestyle.
we aim to increase health span.
Beautiful.
Increase that, because most people's health span gets to about 50 or 55.
Okay.
That's the natural declination of hormones in our body. And I always counter people and they say, oh, hormones cause disease. I say, the time in your life when your hormones are truly optimal is in your third decade of life, right? 20 to 30. How many 20 to 30-year-olds are passing from chronic disease?
Not many. Not many.
many.
Thank you, Dr. Kessler. Yay. We should probably rename menopause and leave that for the men and make it womenopause, right? Because men and women go through some sort of a pause.
Men
Thanks
go
for
through
joining
what's
us.
called andropause.
Yes, they do. Nice to meet you. Stay tuned for more. We're living it up. And there you go. This book will be coming out soon. But until then, you could go to his website to find out more information. Be well and be healthy. Hello, Chef. Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited. How long have you had this restaurant?
It's now since 2017.
Okay. And we're here at the corner of Grove and
Grove and Mercer Street.
Yes.
It's a big memory.
Jersey
to be
City. Jersey City. So how long have you loved food? How long have you been a chef?
Oh, first love food is I love food. I grew up with food. We are from culture, like we are. It's very rich cuisine. I started early 15 actually, and now I'm 54. It's like about 38 years.
My grandfather was a chef. So every Sunday I got to go to my grandma and grandpa's house for dinner. And it was always delicious, whether it was chicken cacciatore or whatever he made me, polenta, it was always good, right? And I feel like your food tastes like that. It tastes like special, like you made it at your house. It feels like people, when they come here, they're eating at your home.
Yes.
Okay. Why is it important to you that the food quality is so superior?
Because I eat myself.
Okay.
And I grew up with family like they caring, and we used to gather. My mom cook every day, but we have a special in the weekend. My dad cook for us. And when my dad cook for us, is a special for us. So, and we see how he's caring, and when he go to the butcher, how he choose the meat, when he go vegetables, because he took us with him. So from there, I learned it's like food quality, it's consistency of cooking. It's very important.
Through the years, you've won a lot of awards. How did it make you feel?
Make me feel really good. That is like I'm doing the right thing, because the award itself it mean a lot. But I see behind it the people that who really I see them in person when they are eating, because when I used to work, most of the restaurant is open kitchen, so I interact with people. Even when I came to New York, I don't speak English, but I can see it. I see the upload. I see the happiness in their face, and when they are coming back. So when I got the award, I say yes, it's the people behind me. So I'm doing the right thing.
Now, this particular location, I mean, you're right at this beautiful corner. The location's wonderful. The architecture is beautiful. When you walk through the threshold, you feel like you're somewhere special, right?
Yeah.
When you're here every day, because a chef works lots of hours.
That's true.
You don't really leave.
No. That's true.
What is the culture of the people that work for you? Do you hire them based upon their personality, or do you train them to make sure that the dish is always consistent? What's the culture like behind the tables?
Well, I want to be honest with you.
Sure.
It's when I have the experience in New York already for almost about 10 years, and I met many different culture of people. For kitchen, you need hard worker people.
Okay.
And main thing to be succeeding in the work in the kitchen is to give love for people who work for you, and to make them feel as a family and take care of them. It's not just about salary and hour. We can be together all the time. It's like when we passed pandemic, we were together. They get the pay that we can do as much as we can. They were happy, and that's why they still, most of them, they are with me before pandemic. And then they still here, because they are they come, they don't know anything, and then they are willing. This is the good about it.
Because when people come in here for the food and the atmosphere, it's always consistent.
Yeah.
Every day somebody can depend on that.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's what also makes you a really successful restaurant. What are some of your favorite things on the menu? Do you have any recipes from your father that you use still, or because this looks great, this Mediterranean
like this
plate?
Mediterranean,
Yes.
like the meza. This is typical Lebanese. You can say Mediterranean, Middle Eastern.
Okay.
It's like Syrian, Greek, Turkish, Palestinian, Lebanese, Israel. So it's all together. So my favorite is the baba ghanoush, because I grew up see my dad do roasting baba ghanoush, and the beet mutabba.
Okay.
So
And
the beet mutabal is a beet with a sesame tahini and molasses that people love a lot of.
Oh, that sounds really good. Sounds excellent.
For heavy food,
Yes.
I like a dish called ma'loubi. Is that we do lamb shanks, eggplant, rice. We cook all together in the pot, and then we flip it. That's why we call it ma'loubi. That is really nice. That's one of my favorite.
It takes a lot of bravery to become an entrepreneur, to step out, to just say, I'm going to go for it, right? What was the moment in your mind where you said there was no looking back, that you said, I'm doing this and I'm here?
I think after 8 years working hard in New York, and I think everything.
You started as a dishwasher, right?
As a dishwasher,
Right.
salad man, and then from Lebanese cuisine transferred to be in French cuisine. And I had good experience with the French chefs. Until one time Saudi people, they want to open the same location, was in Beirut, in Riyadh, and I did, and they sent me to France because they love me. I did culinary school in Lenotre, and then when I came back to Saudi Arabia, the manager said, now is the time to go to New York. Then I didn't believe it until he done the job with Benihana Contra, and then I come. When I stepped in New York, the first minute I stepped out from the car, they want to show me New York. I said, I'm not going back anywhere. I'm staying.
You felt it in your heart?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. So I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, not as far away as you grew up. But the second that I think I knew from the moment that the plane was landing, and I saw what I thought was like this long like racetrack, and they're like, that's not the racetrack, that's a toll road, because I saw all the red and the green lights. But the second that I came down and I saw the lights of the city, I said, I just felt something. I was like, I belong here.
Yeah, even when you're walking, you're feeling, touching the people, they talk to you. It's like the friendly way. It's awesome. I travel maybe a couple countries, but I notice you are not gonna find this somewhere else.
Yes.
Which even now I travel more, and yes, definitely, you're not gonna see what you see in New York.
There's something magical about it.
Yeah.
Now, even this, what is this?
The pita bread. That's what we do here. Is people love that because we do it. We do our own pita. It's fresh.
Okay.
So
you make
the
the
moment
flour,
you sit down at
you
the
make the
table,
dough.
olive oil, flour. We do it two types. We do whole wheat and we do regular wheat.
Okay.
So people love it. It's very light. It goes with all the appetizers.
You also have mussels. What are some of the other dishes that you have?
Well, we do Moroccan. Moroccan is really good.
Okay.
Experience being in Saudi Arabia, I had to learn how to do Moroccan cuisine because my boss, they love Moroccan cuisine. So they send me to hotel in Riyadh, or they invite me. So I eat the food. I said, I can do that. I'm a chef.
I'm a chef.
So I started, and then I came up. I love them. It's a very good dish. It's especially the lamb tagine. It's so popular here in the restaurant and delivery. We do delivery some days.
Oh,
we do delivery some days better than the business.
Really?
Yeah, especially
Okay.
now we've been booming on delivery. Thanks
Well,
God.
people probably want to have like a nice date night at home sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
and eat good food.
And eat good food.
Yeah.
So it's like you add to that magic for them,
Yeah.
right?
Like I would tell you now, also we have had one day an influencer, a girl, she wrote about the French toast. That's one viral. Like I will tell you, daily we sell like about 200 orders. It's not easy for restaurants to go order while you're busy. Like it was a start on Saturday, like for 2 weeks it get to a little start slow down a little bit. So it helped because people when they try the French toast, they look at the menu, they wanna try some other stuff, and we see them here and we ask. I talked to them personally.
Good.
They told me that we are here because first we tried the French toast and we went like, wow, so we need to be and try the place. Even people, they've been like, they live around.
Yes.
Like since I opened, they live here maybe 2-3 years until they try, and then they are here now. That's cool.
Well, it's even, it's so interesting too because you're very close to New York City. You just go right through the Hudson Tunnel and you're here. You could be anywhere.
I want to tell you something a little about the pandemic thing. Like in pandemic, we close, right? We just do a little corner to do like pick up food. A lot from the city people come and pick up food from me. That's how it become like
because
so popular pasta.
It's good food. Yeah, it's delicious. Your team is really wonderful and welcoming. It's so cute. You feel like you're on vacation. You feel like you're somewhere special, like you've gone to a destination when you're here. And I loved that from the moment that I walked through the threshold. I was like, I feel like I'm somewhere very special.
Yeah,
and that's something that you built.
That's true.
I hope that your family is proud of you.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely. They are happy to see that. And, we talk on FaceTime. I show them sometimes. They are so happy to see their kids went far that much. Because it makes difference for everybody.
What's one thing on your what's one thing on your menu that you crave? What's something that you would like to eat here? That you're like, I gotta have it.
Yeah, it is the chilling sea bass with ratatouille and mashed potato.
Okay.
When I do that special, because I do it as a special in the restaurant.
Okay. So when you're hungry for it, we're gonna see it on the menu?
Yeah. No, I usually do it Friday, especially now summer, because a lot of people like to have something different and light.
Yes.
So it is had the twist between French is really Frenchy. And I do add some Mediterranean, the pomegranate molasses on it. So the twist has the sweet and sour. Which I want to tell you, I'm a big fan of Jean-Georges, the chef from Manhattan. 2003, he opened restaurant when the little French start falling restaurant in the city. came up with the idea of Vietnamese and French cuisine, and in Soho. I said, no way now. I know what I'm going to do. If I will open my own, I will do a French Lebanese bistro.
Okay.
It will be the concept of cuisine Lebanese and some special the French. But the ambience, the seating is like you see outside. It's like you are in cafe in Paris.
It is.
Like you are in cafe in Paris. How many people from France just walking?
Yeah.
They just want to sit because they feel they are home.
I know, absolutely. It was lovely
Thank you,
to
Donna.
be here with you. And I know that we're going to like eat together.
Sure.
I also noticed that you have live music sometimes. It's a really fun, great
Every
place.
Friday, Saturday, and Thursday next week. Stay tuned. There is
Okay.
something special also.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Chef. Really,
Pleasure.
truly, thank you for having me
Oh,
here.
thank you, thank you.
I'm going to mark this as one of my #1 top choices. If you're looking for something fun, delicious, nutritious, just a way to celebrate life, you've got to be right here. Thanks for watching.
Uncle Momo.
Yes, that was fun. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4. Michel, go. Ma mère sont des mots qui vont très bien ensemble. Très bien ensemble. Allez. Michel, ma mère. These are words that go together well. My Michel, my Michel. Hey. Thank you.
This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys.
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more. Live it up, live it up, live it up now.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.